Welcome to another edition of the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. I am Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Terryn from New Wave.
Buenos dias.
We're in not the normal studio we're typically in. We are working remote at this point. We are trying something different, trying to expand our reach for guests versus having people come in every time. That way we can reach even further. And we're able to show different things as well. So still powered by think tank thought leadership. They still handle all of our post-production. They handle all of the social. They handle all of, what else do they do? All of our editing, some of our graphics. They handle, what am I trying to say? Publishing this out. So every time you go out to Spotify, every time you go out to YouTube, you go out to Apple, that's who's putting it out there for us. So big shout out to Think Tank Thought Leadership for handling that for us. We really appreciate those guys. We got a fun episode today, Pete, don't we?
We always do. This is no exception.
This is definitely not an exception. I look like I'm in Darth Vader's lair right now, but that's how it is. All right, let's bring in our guest.
Ethan.
And welcome Mr. Ethan Brace, the owner of Brace Yourself.
Brace Yourself Solutions is
Brace
what I've dubbed myself as.
And we're going to talk about building a digital twin. And I don't want to say all things AI, but we're going to talk about some really fun AI stuff. So Ethan, tell me just a quick background of yourself.
Yeah, I've been working in web development for close to 10 years at this point. Got into it with MySpace. So I was always interested. Yeah, it's just kind of tinkering with MySpace. What can I do? How can I make it look? Looking at other people's stuff and seeing if there's anything I can kind of mimic, copy. That's the life of a curious tech person. Just looking at all the things people are doing and seeing if I can do it any better, or at least baseline, just do it.
Sure.
It's I grew up, I was taught that's called R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yeah, so I've been doing that for a long time. I got laid off a little while ago from my web dev job. No fault of mine. But in the end, I'm very thankful for that because it caused me to switch gears and stop just kind of chasing the horse, as they say. So now I'm into this whole AI thing because one, I think it's super interesting. Two, I think it's really, really beneficial. It can be if used in the correct way. It's just a tool. And three, it's really fun. It's fun to interact with people and to sit with people and see what they like to do and how I can help them do more of that. So that's my whole thing is I would like to create opportunities for meaningful connections using AI tech is my business proposal. And I do that through offloading the admin work for the people that don't like it, or client work if they don't like interacting with people. I mean, I kind of surround myself with both. Being a developer, I sit with clients and I talk to them, and I sit with devs and I talk to them, and I kind of understand it's like, okay, people don't like to talk to people. Yeah, that's the devs. It's just like kind of seclude themselves into their own shells and do the work. So that using AI for them might look like just answer my emails, please.
Sure.
Give me a summary of the things I need to understand.
Yep.
How do I solve this problem? That's a big one. That's huge.
So explain, without giving away like a lot of the secret sauce or anything, but explain what kind of a typical project, or I wouldn't even say typical, but explain like some of the fun projects that you have worked on with clients. Like, what did it entail?
As far as like how I pay bills, it's a little less fun. I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm doing a thing that's very closely related to the thing that I really enjoy, which is helping people discover the joy within themselves. The thing that pays the bills that I'm enjoying right now is working with business owners, like I was saying a second ago, to offload those admin tasks. That looks like literally anything. Like start with email. That's an obvious one. I don't like managing my email inbox. I was just talking with John Anderson about this, and I was like, I could like offload all this email stuff for you if you'd like. He's like, why? I love email. As I looked at him curiously, and it's like he just has this whole system for how to manage the emails. Go to inbox 0, like answer all the things, remove the thing, reply to the thing, whatever. So the thing that I'm enjoying doing to kind of copy that is do the same thing with AI. If I get an email, I'd like to either ignore it or reply to it. So draft a reply. Very simple stuff. And you can kind of give it examples. You give the AI examples of what should be ignored versus what shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's one very simple, easy use case that I'm giving to people.
You mentioned John Anderson. I don't know John, but it reminds me of how I actually met you. We were at an econ club presentation, and shout out to the econ club. They bring in ridiculous speakers, like awesome, big time thought leaders. Just some great presentations there. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the Salim Ismail one. I had to go to that one because Celine is on my favorite AI podcast called Moonshots, or maybe more specifically WTF, or what WTF happened in AI, or something like that. So if you're looking for a great AI podcast, just slightly worse than this one, check out Moonshots and Salim and Peter Diamandis and just a bunch of geniuses on that podcast. And I love it because they're like leaned way out into the future, and that's where I'd like to live and talk about that kind of stuff. But it was cool. So after the presentation, I had walked up towards the front because I wanted to say hi to Salim and the CEO of New Wave, Chad Paulman, who's been a guest on the pod. Said, hey, I want you to meet this guy. He's building a digital twin for John Anderson. And I had only vaguely heard that term before. And it kind of relates to what you were just talking about, like, building some automations and things like that. So that kind of email responder or automation, is that part of that digital twin idea, or is the digital twin something different? Could you just, and I'm still trying to get myself up to speed on what a digital twin is, and maybe you could just talk about how you define that.
Sure. It's if you've not tried it yet, it feels weird to like clone yourself and then talk to yourself.
Drew does it all the time.
I don't think it'd be weird. I think it'd be great.
Okay, that gives me an insight into who you are. No, it's just a copy of yourself. You've seen people kind of make AI videos and put them out there. It's the same thing, except you can record yourself and train an LLM to kind of respond like you, including how you look and how you sound. So that's basically what a digital twin is. And I'm doing that for John Anderson to productize his process. And he sits with CEOs and I mean, anyone who would like to go and work with him can. He goes through referrals for the most part. But he sits down with people and helps them figure out the end of their life, right? And work backwards from there. Where do you want to be when you die? How old do you want to be? And he works backwards. And he kind of shapes how people want to live their life and gives them an outline of those things. So the idea behind his digital twin is to take his whole process and make it cheap. So and you can do that with AI and the internet, and give it his brand, give it his voice, his face. So when you brought up the email and if it ties in with this, yes and no. I'm not building it for this specifically, but eventually, yes. The whole underlying engine of something like this needs to be able to respond like the person who the AI is managing the email inbox for, right? So I'd want my digital twin to understand how I talk. I mean, there are flaws in how I speak. Include those. This is part of the being real part that is becoming more and more evident as we go through this AI wave of technology.
Which is weird to say because you're trying to make you're building in flaws into the digital avatar to make it more human, so you can interact, so humans can interact with it more. So it's almost like you're faking it in there, but it totally makes sense of doing that because then it feels more comfortable.
Yeah. It's not just coaching. Coaching is a huge part of why I do what I do. I'm very interested in pursuing how can we use AI to shape our lives in the way that we'd like it to be.
Right.
So a lot of the times we're going throughout our days with a sense of urgency. It's like, I need to get this done. I need to go do the next thing. This is so common.
Yeah.
I want to work with John, and I'm partnering with him. He's coaching me, and I'm providing my my technical skills. And it's a symbiotic, interdependent relationship, and it's been really fun. But I have a slightly vested interest in making the things that he does more visible, because I believe if we start to pay attention to the things that John Anderson is teaching me and the things that I understand are very valuable throughout life, you can have a better life. You can have a more enjoyable life, more fulfilling life. One of the things that AI does, both inherently and just kind of because of the way that it is it brings attention to specific things. One of the things it brings attention to is what is real. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
There's this wave of people that are talking about this. Like, how do we know what is real? I was talking to someone last week who is very concerned about this. They're bringing up the fact that certain companies are allowing the publishing of AI content without watermarks. How do we know that's real? I mean, someone with a trained eye can understand that and kind of pay attention to, okay, yeah, that's AI. You can tell it in text, you can tell it in video and voice for now.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
But there's an ethical concern here that, I mean, I think should be raised and we should pay attention to, but that's kind of besides the point. The point is we're paying attention to what is real because now, more than ever in history, it's difficult to tell. And if you're not paying attention, you can be duped, and people can use it to fool you. It's just that it's the phishing, the online phishing thing. If anyone doesn't know what that is, I'll just assume people do because it's AI tech show. It's like AI phishing. Hey, this is me, Ethan. I'm over here. Type in your password.
Yeah.
Right.
So easy. And I mean, the disadvantages of AI are many. I'm trying to be one who brings the good, or brings the good out of AI, as opposed to try to take advantage of people. And one of the ways is by paying attention to our inner world and helping us in our exterior world.
So,
Do you think, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Pete's going to ask you how to steal people's credit cards using AI. I just wonder, do you think we'll get to a point, or at least it's kind of a loaded question. I think we're going to get to a point where the authenticity of it and the real, is it real, is it not, is going to kind of go by the wayside, not for the malicious intent stuff. Obviously, we want to make sure what's authentic. Like if someone dupes Pete and Pete's all of a sudden calling me saying, hey, can you bail me out of jail and send me some money? Something like that, where I'm going, oh my gosh, but it's completely fake. Obviously, that's a maluse of it. But I think on the other side of it, I think it'll eventually flip to where people go, yeah, I understand that it's fake, but I'm getting either the info I want, or I'm getting that nugget, that payoff that I typically would get from a real whatever. So now I don't care if it's fake. And it might not even be our generation. It might be the generation after us that it's so embedded, where from birth to all life, they've always had this ability. So it's been accepted a lot quicker. But I really think at some point it's going to be more accepted than not.
I agree. Yeah, you can see this throughout history too, with revolutions and technology advancing.
Yeah.
You're going to say something, Pete?
Well, I was going to say something very similar to what Drew said. I'll just say it better than how he said it.
Good, because I cannot find the words. I got to use ChatGPT to figure out the words for this.
No, it got me thinking that at first I was thinking it's weird that we're talking about we have to find a way to make the fake stuff seem more real. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, and I don't know if John has written books or if he publishes a blog or whatever he does. But if you wanted to learn about what he's teaching and the value that he's providing, if he had a book, you could go buy that book and you could read it.
Yeah.
A digital twin of John is just another modality for absorbing that information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how a digital twin that can regurgitate how John would say things and the advice and the coaching that he's giving is just a better version of a book, because you can have a conversation with that book, and it's branded to John because it looks like John, it talks like John, it has the same, voice inflection and those kinds of things. Like it's just it's an evolution versus some kind of a new scam. It's just I think a different way of absorbing that.
Yeah, that I've had a lot of thoughts about this laying in bed at night. Like what are the potential benefits in this area? I don't like to record myself and put myself on the internet, and John Anderson shares that trait with me. I think there's a way to get around to using digital twins that allows people to kind of put a more of a polished feel of themselves if they're not willing to let the raw and dirty, which I think is valuable. If you're willing to put yourself out there, that's so huge. But one of the things I've been talking to John about is like, hey, could you just like record yourself in the woods and just talk about things that you're passionate about? You can take that and clip it and transform it. Take the ideas. I can take the feeling, the emotion from your voice. I can slap it on. I can slap your face on it using this digital twin software, or we just do audio, or we just do like, how do we convey these things that you're thinking? How do we convey these things in a meaningful way to people through social media? One, like in a way that makes people excited about the ideas. Because when you sit down with John, and he's not like trying to keep himself from being himself, it's powerful. You can see that he's been practicing the things that he's been teaching people for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. By sitting every morning with intention, by paying attention to the things that are in your life, the things that you're grateful for, as opposed to paying attention to the things that I need to get to, the urgent things. He talks often about Stephen Covey's book, First Things First. Paying attention to the urgent and important things isn't necessarily super beneficial, but if you can structure your day so that things are getting taken care of and the non-important things are just over here when you can get to them, you can take a deep breath and pursue your day with intention. So what John does, I think, can be, I don't want to take the human element out of this, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but I think the ability to focus attention using AI in a coaching environment with a coaching kind of avatar, I think the ability to focus your attention with that can be very powerful.
Do you think, I don't know what you guys have talked about as far as how people would interact, but from what you're describing, I could almost wake up in the morning and I've got the John app on my phone, and I say, okay, I'm up, I'm ready to go. How do I start my day? What's my routine here? And digital John says, okay, sit down, take some deep breaths, clear your mind, reflect on, is that kind of what you're thinking is just like this interactive digital coach that I just kind of carry in my pocket throughout the day?
Yeah, exactly. I've thought this many times, like how would I connect this AI with Alexa, or Alexa, turn off, unplug it. Yeah, how can I wake myself up that's not blaring an alarm in my ears? That's not great. What if I told the system that I'm building when I want to wake up and how I want to wake up and what I need to pay attention to in the morning? Hey, Ethan, good morning. Maybe a more soothing voice, maybe some music. It's literally whatever. You can tell the thing, go get my favorite track and play that on my Bluetooth speaker and use that as kind of like a way to enter your day with more grace than a
Yeah.
blaring alarm. Hey, Ethan, it's this day. You have this planned. Let's sit up. Sit up, take a deep breath. I know you don't want to. You're in bed. Let's take a deep breath and get ready for the day. There are these things that you wanted to do. If you're intentional about that, let's actually go and do it. So you can give it your own personality too. You can have it be soft and gentle with you, or you can have it be, I don't know, David Goggins with you,
Yeah.
just pushing you down the hill so you don't stop.
Yeah. This is so, like, get up, motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's gonna work.
Yes.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, because you could customize it too, right? Like you're getting the default John, but maybe there's some things like if there was a digital Pete, there'd be a lot of things that people didn't like about him and that they'd want to change. So you could also have customization there too. Like, all right, I need to have a little bit more. I need to be more forceful in the morning. I'm a terrible riser, and I need you to be on my ass more in the morning. Then as the day goes on, and I'm going, then you can kind of go back into your normal,
Be motivating here and then be soothing here.
yeah.
And comforting here.
We should have.
We could program that in for you, Pete.
I just want to have a little Drew in my ear when I wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?"
You guys have an interesting relationship.
That's a good way to describe
when
it.
I'm snuggled up next to him in the morning.
That's great. I love the unfilteredness of this podcast.
Yeah.
That's why we call it unfiltered. That's why Pete and I have to be separated. So what? There's so many applications for this. I mean, there's training, there's therapy, there's mentorship, there's life coaching. I mean, there's just so many. It's a whole resource library that's now got a face to it. There's just like you said, Pete, you could have it freaking read you a book if you wanted to.
Yeah.
At that point, in a tone that you wanted, you could have the Morgan Freeman tone for it.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd just be amazing to see that.
Well, so I'll take us in a kind of a weird, maybe more controversial area for this. So
Because you have it already.
we're going to go a little bit further.
Like and subscribe.
Well, so and I've seen some articles on this. People that are creating a digital twin of a loved one that has passed, and allows them to kind of continue to interact with them. And I know what my first impression of that was, but I'd love to hear, Ethan, if that's something that's crossed your mind and or where you're at on that.
There's someone in my life who recently passed, actually, and the husband of this person. Well, actually, he didn't reach out to me. His family member did. One of his daughters, and she asked if I could potentially do something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's possible, but what? Oh, interesting. How do we sit with that? Because there's a potential for the person sitting with that, like that husband who's lost his life partner. He didn't have the recording of her saying this thing that he wanted a recording of. She had cancer, and it was like 5 years going through this process, 5+ years. And because they knew it was coming, they did record a bunch of stuff. And there's this one thing. So I'm thinking I could use those recordings. It would be not necessarily perfect because it's not like looking at the camera ready
Right.
to be an AI avatar. It's more
Yeah.
like take the voice, take the image, kind of patch things together. But what's the effect on the person sitting in that? I think it can be harmful if you've not confronted that grief fully. But maybe it can be because it's not researched. We don't see people doing this.
Yeah.
We don't see the long-term effects of that. Maybe we could kind of see related things in the past with other kinds of technology. We can kind of see behavioral trends in psychology for people that fixate on a loved one that can't move past. Like this may or may not help them do so, to move past,
Right.
to move into life as it is now, as opposed to how it was.
That's a good point. I have started down that same path. My father passed away about 14 years ago, and I had some photos, and when the whole turn the photo into a video, AI technology started coming out. This is probably maybe almost a year ago at this point. I started loading a bunch of photos going, oh my gosh, I can build an avatar of my dad, and I have videos of him, so I can go to like 11 labs and make a voice profile. And I started down that path, and once I had a couple of the photos turn into video, like when I saw the movement and saw that, it's a little, at least, I mean, this is like 6-7 months ago, so it's probably better now, but it was a little wonky. But at the same time, I'm going, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to do this now. Like, it totally stopped me. I totally stopped and said, I don't know if I want to do this. I thought about two things. I thought, I don't know if I could handle this, just being so obviously close to my dad because he was a real person that I knew. But my son, who was only a year and a half, 2 years old when he passed away, doesn't remember him other than just pictures and a couple of short videos. So I'm going, this would be interesting to tee this up almost into here's my dad's entire persona of what I had captured, and turn it into almost a digital avatar that he could interact with to go, oh my gosh, this is grandpa, and never really having a conversation with him. He's 16 now. So it's like never being able to have that conversation until now. It wouldn't be exactly accurate as far as my viewpoint because it's still AI and I can see where the differences are, but I don't think he would know that much of a difference because he doesn't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah, it doesn't have that reference point.
I still never built it because it's still just kind of weird, but I'm still contemplating, do I build something like that and see if I can get it to work? Maybe I take a historical figure, I take someone else like Socrates or something and build it into something just to see.
You're going to take Socrates and tell your son that that's his grandpa?
He was kind of an important dude.
I haven't told you this yet. There's something about the family you need to know.
No, not. But
fact.
just to see if it works, I'm sure someone's already got something like that out there. But just to,
yeah, I've seen ones of like Jesus.
I mean,
yeah,
like, because you have nothing to compare it to at that point, so it'd just be kind of a cool interact. I can see like stuff like that at museums. Like now you go up and you look at the Mona Lisa, and now there's a screen next to it where you can interact with the Mona Lisa and you can talk to Da Vinci of how he painted it, what his thoughts were, and
I actually think that's a thing now. I think I read something recently where they're out to. I won't be able to find it now, but I think they're actually doing that. And what an awesome application for that, where imagine kids coming up through school where they talk to George Washington about founding America. We don't have video of him, of course, but we have a lot of his writings, and there's been all kinds of books written about him. You could ingest that, right, and have a reasonable facsimile of George Washington and all that.
You got to like understand why you're interacting with something like that. If you go into it with an understanding of what you're doing, and what it is you're interacting with, it's like, okay, this isn't real. We're gonna become a lot more sensitive over the next few years, I believe, to what is real versus what is not. And this has changed my life. Paying attention to the things that are actually real, not necessarily thoughts, but the experience of life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like watching. I just introduced my kids to The Night at the Museum, and they loved it. And Teddy Roosevelt is Robin Williams is Teddy Roosevelt in that. It is just exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
You're going into a museum, and what if you could talk to the exhibits? Like, what if?
Yeah.
But you'd be going to the museum to specifically learn something. If you can go put yourself in a place like this of interacting like with purpose, maybe that's the guardrail here for using technology like this. Is like, why are you coming to this avatar of this thing? What's your purpose? And if it's not specifically to learn, to change your own thinking intentionally, maybe we put you over here in this category of interactions that's not going to be harmful for your brain, because there's a mental health crisis. I don't know if you've noticed, for people, because they're all in their heads. They're paying attention to all of the things that people are thinking about, not, instead of like paying attention to what's actually happening to them
Yeah.
in their life. Can we structure technology like this to pay attention to that? Pay attention to the mental health aspect of the human that is interacting with the system. I believe you can. It just takes a lot of structure. It takes a lot of systematic, logical processing that finally like computers can do. Like now we can talk, we can program with our voice, we can program with our words semantically. We can create applications just by saying, I want this. Give this to me. How do I do this? Okay, now no, do that over here in my web browser. Okay, now I have a website and I didn't
Yeah.
touch the keyboard.
Yeah.
That's unprecedented. But websites are just the simplest, stupidest thing. How can you use this to understand a person? You had someone on that I was interested in listening to that was talking about how do you extract emotion from facial and verbal cues.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible, because we've been training AI. We have all this like training data about sadness. What does it look like? What does it sound like to be sad? What does it look like to be happy? What does it look like to be angry? I mean, put that into a system that interacts with a human, you can kind of get an understanding of how, like, what they need. In this way, AI can be a mirror for you. Just like you look in the mirror to pay attention to how you look, to get an understanding of, I need to fix my hair. I need to fix my face. It's broken. This is a
Yeah.
common problem with some people. They don't pay attention, and you can tell, right? But if you start to pay attention to how you look, you can actually start to affect people around you in different ways. If you start to pay attention to your words, you can affect people around you in specific ways. You can affect change. You can encourage. You can influence. You can push people that need to be pushed. You can hug people that need to be hugged. It's all about where your attention is. If you can find a way to structure an AI system that causes a human's intention to be directed towards the thing that they care about the most, we're not only on the wave of technological advancements, we're on the wave of human advancements, human intellectual, human psychological advancements. If we let it, if we can put enough of this kind of content into the world instead of fear mongering and just
Yeah.
responding, just
a lot
responding
out
from
there.
fear. It's not helpful. Yes, we need to pay attention to the downfalls. Yes, we need to build secure systems because of these, but don't let that be your driving factor.
Exactly.
Pay attention to the things that matter to you. Let that drive you. Let that push you down the road of innovation, of purpose, of progress, of presence. Don't just respond. Pay attention. Use AI to help you pay attention.
Yeah. And because not everybody is not everybody's brains are wired the same. Not everybody was raised the same or had the same mentors and influences in their life that may have, guided them to be more reflective and pay more attention, because not everybody just is fortunate enough to have that. But now with AI, you could have the best life coach right there with you. And I think it's going to be a boon for mental health, because people can get the help that they otherwise couldn't afford to. And I've talked about this plenty of times before, the democratizing of mental health support through AI, making it more affordable, making it available to you whenever you need it, not just when you can get an appointment, 3-4 weeks from now on a Tuesday at, got to take time off of work and the whole thing. Like, you could get a therapy session over lunch, or, in the evening before you go to bed, or whatever it is. We actually lined up a guest in January is when I hope to have her on, but a friend of mine who's a psychologist to talk just about that. We want to get a professional in here so we can really figure out, like, where could this go? Yeah, there's things you need to watch out for, but I think there's way more upside than downside here.
Yeah. So I think it takes that intention. Like, if we figure out how to pay attention to the human first, the mental health of the human first, create systems that are observing this. It is the great leveling of the playing field. I mean, even before AI, we're starting to see some things around power, like how power affects large groups of people. COVID was huge with this. We started to pay attention to what is real. Like, that was the start of it. And then AI has, like, wow, what is real for real? But we started to pay attention. I mean, Donald Trump, I don't want to get into politics, but what is he doing? What is he trying to help people, like, get people to believe about him? What are the people in power doing to affect change? We're starting to pay attention to what's real. If we can level the playing field to where everyone has the same power, now we can, because I don't know. This is off the cuff, but I think power is hugely influenced by information. And now, more than ever, AI is providing information to whoever asks it for free.
Sure.
I mean,
Yep.
in limited fashions, but so many people are using it for free to do things that they didn't understand before. I'm terrible in the kitchen, and now I can make actually good food. And people are like, that's delicious. Thank you. You're welcome. I didn't do it, but now I know how, because I can go and ask, where I would have had to spend an hour and experiment and figure out what works. That's not my passion. I want to pursue my passion. So just imagine the thing that's not my passion, I'm getting better at. The thing that I'm actually passionate about, you can now be a pro at the thing that you want to do for your life.
Yeah.
I like to work with tech. I like to imagine things. I like to help people. What's the middle road for all these things? I've had this idea in my head for a long, long time, is business process optimization. How do I work with people to help them do their job better? Before AI, this looked like just, let's put all the data in one place so you can see it. This is the CMS paradigm, the CRM paradigm. How do we interact with customers in a really streamlined way? Now I can use AI to help people interact with their database without touching a damn keyboard.
Right.
That's great. That's great. Get a call about the things that you need to work about, the things that you need to think about for the day, the people you need to interact with. Hey, think about, this is AI talking. Hey, you business owner, think about this person you interacted with yesterday. I noticed that you might have been a little too direct in this area. If you reach out to them, maybe you could build a little more rapport and raise the level of their understanding of you in their own minds.
And your understanding of them, right? So if there's so many ways you can go with this, but if you're thinking about people that you work with and you you're building context around them. Say people take a disc profile or a strengths finder or whatever it is, and AI has access to that, and they kind of has an understanding of how that person is wired, and you are interacting with them. Like before you have the conversation, your AI could prep you for that conversation.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, if you're recording your conversations, they could say like, hey, you did a good job. This is how this person likes to be communicated to, and you hit the mark. Or I don't think they got what you meant because you didn't try to meet them where they were. Here's how you could do better next time. And starting to help build better connections. And because some people just don't know how to, they don't have that ability to meet people where they're at, and AI could certainly help with that.
Yeah, totally.
We got to wrap this up.
That's my message.
No.
Pay attention.
Time
Stop
flies
responding.
so much. So Ethan, appreciate you being a guest on our podcast and talking about this. This is actually really cool because it got kind of in that philosophical end of it too, of what are the ethics of this and where is this going and what have we not contemplated with this? So really appreciate you being a guest of ours. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Braceyourselfsolutions.com is my website. It's a work in progress. I mean, I think every business owner's website's a work in progress.
Sure.
If you have feedback, go to the contact form, let me know. Tell me it sucks. Tell me how to fix it. I don't care. Yeah, that's where I am. I don't really get on socials too much, but that might change in the near future. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you being on, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll definitely be following up with you in the future, see where you're at and what you're building and what you're doing. So
sounds fun.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Take care, everyone.